In elementary school, I wasn't a very good student. And it wasn't that I didn't have the mental capacity or anything like that. It was simply that I was bad at studying and I didn't know how to do work very well. This continued a little bit into middle school, and then in high school I started to develop these principles that helped me become really successful academically. And what they also did is they helped me to be mentally and physically healthy, which is more important than academic success, in my opinion. So these are principles that helped me to get into Harvard, arguably, and I think that a lot of people could benefit from. So if you're somebody that is hoping to up your studying game, then hopefully this video can help you. So before I jump into things, I'd like to give a big thank you to Crimson Education for sponsoring this video. Crimson Education is a college consulting company that helps students get into the top colleges in the country by providing academic and extracurricular counseling services, but more information on them at the end of the video. So the very first principle that I want to share is a really important one. Well, I think they're all really important, but this one especially. It's called right body, right mind. And the idea with this is really simple. Your mind is a part of your body. And if you take care of your body, you take care of your mind. But if you neglect your body, you neglect your mind. It's really that simple. And so if you set your body up to perform at a high level, then you're also setting your brain up to perform at a high level. And the studies on this are really clear. Luckily though, it's really easy to set your body up for peak performance. A little bit of exercise has the potential to go a really long way, whether that be walking, jogging, biking, swimming, whatever it is. If you just take 15-20 minutes out of your day, you wake your mind up, you get your synapses firing, and you get yourself just ready to go. You will be more awake and therefore more functional and more efficient in your work if you just do a little bit of exercise. I'm not talking about, going out there and running a marathon for the very first time or doing anything super strenuous right before a big study session or a big test, because your body will want to recover and sleep after that. But just a little bit staying within your bounds is one of the best ways to get ready to study. The studies are very clear. If you're a student, you need at least 8 hours of sleep a night. And if you're getting any less, your studying is actually becoming less and less efficient because you're going into what's called sleep debt. So get 8 hours of sleep a night and you will study more efficiently. When you're studying and you're really tired, it might take you twice as long to do a problem, or 3 times as long, or any amount of time as long you might not even be able to do the problem because you're so tired. And if you just keep forcing yourself to stay up until you do the problem, then that's not beneficial. Get your sleep, wake up, do your problem. Just make sure that you get that 8 to 9 hours of sleep. It's not that much if you block accordingly for it and if you plan for it. Using your brain uses a lot of energy, and you need to be eating well in order to provide that energy to your brain. So this is just kind of common sense. If you're eating bad foods like high in sugar, for example, you might get a spike in energy and then die out. Alternatively, you could eat a healthy, well-balanced diet and get long-lasting energy so that when you have to study for a few hours at a time, you're able to do that without getting super tired. It kind of just makes sense. So the second principle that I want to share is this idea of the right environment. So if you're going to be studying, if you're going to be doing work, you need to take just a few minutes to set up the environment that you're going to be doing work in, wherever that is, whether it's your bedroom, the library, etc. You need to just set a few things up so that your mind knows that you're in study mode and so that you can just get after it. So here's what I do.
Power on. Thought connected.
So the first way that I create a good environment is by playing white noise on a speaker. I find that I need to drown out the outside world when I'm studying, and lyrical music, so music that has lyrics in it, it makes me sing along, and that just completely distracts me. So I'll either listen to like rain sounds or classical music or just random white noise. Definitely recommend it. If you've watched any of my videos, it shouldn't really be surprising that I recommend having tea or water while you study, but this actually does a lot of things for you. So firstly, it helps your body and therefore your mind out because you're hydrating. and you need to hydrate in order to function. It's just a fact of life. And so having tea or water while you study makes sure that you stay hydrated. But it also helps you focus, or at least it helps me focus, because it gives my body something to do. And it's kind of like productive fidgeting in that while I'm sipping on this thing, I can be thinking and I'm not getting distracted by anything. It's keeping me in the zone while giving me something to do. And I find that that's really beneficial. So at this point, your mind is ready to go. Your body is ready to go. The environment around you is ready to go. All that you need to do is actually do the work. And this is the third principle, right work. The idea behind right work is that we need to make sure that we're being efficient with our time and that we're being focused with our energy. And here's how I do that. So I've talked about the Pomodoro Method before, but honestly, I'm a really strong believer in it. If you're unfamiliar, it's basically 25 minutes of hard work, of focused work, followed by 5 minutes of just completely unfocused rest, doing whatever you want to do. And the reason that I like this so much is because it very much translates from a sport background, where in sport you work very hard for a certain period of time. You have a very intense period of activity followed by a period of rest. And this is ultimately more productive because it allows those periods of intense activity to be even more intense than if you had just worked for the entire 30 minutes. Because if you try and do one long continuous block of studying, you will get tired and you will get distracted, and that's just kind of a fact of life. You might be able to pull it off here and there in marathon study sessions, but it's not really sustainable day in, day out. So take a sustainable method, do the Pomodoro, or if other timing works better for you, you can experiment around with that, but I definitely recommend trying this. So if you know me, you know that I like to set goals. I keep goals for every single day. And the same is true with studying. I like to set goals for my studying sessions because what it does is it lets me be very organized about what I need to work on next. What is the focus that I should be working on? Because the whole idea with these 25-minute sessions is that they're focused, and so you need something to be focused on. And so taking a little bit of time at the start of your study session to just kind of write down what you need to do and prioritize so that you don't need to be thinking about what do I have up next, what am I going to be doing. You can just stay focused on one thing until it gets completed and then move on to the next one and just get everything done. So full disclosure, I didn't use Crimson Education or any other college consulting service when I was applying to universities, but I know someone who did, and that's Luke, my roommate. So Luke initially applied to Harvard Early Action and got deferred, and then he decided to enlist the help of a service like Crimson Education, a college consulting service. And then he ended up getting into 7 out of 8 Ivies and getting his essay into Business Insider. So this definitely won't happen to everyone, but using services from Crimson Education can really work and really help you with your application. So if you're interested, or it sounds like something that you might be interested in, there's a link in my description to help you get started, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments and I'll answer away. So I hope that if you're a student or someone in the workplace that needs to study, I hope that you got something out of this video, because these are just principles that as a student I've had to learn over the years, and they're constantly developing. These are not static things, they're not things that I adhere to rigorously every time, but they're just things that I've found that have helped me, and I hope that they have helped you too.